So I wanted to just give you that to show you how we actually penetrated the market. It wasn't like somebody was sitting there, and today they need bell peppers everywhere. Today it makes no sense to import the bell peppers. And we've taken from bell peppers, we're doing cherry tomatoes, we are doing, beef tomatoes, we're doing broccoli, we're doing cauliflower. My goal is anything that is imported that I can produce, I get on it. I want to start doing dragon fruit. I want to do everything that I can grow. I want to start growing blueberries. You go to South Africa to do blueberries. They make wine. Why can't we? I was in Mali, they grow papaya in greenhouses. Yeah. I wish we could show a video. They grow papaya in a greenhouse, and then when it's already overgrown, you just cut it and you allow it continues to grow. It's regenerative. You don't have to get everything and restart everything. There's so much that we are not doing. You see, so I understood that with me and supermarkets, there had to be an element of consistency, pricing, value. So today, I am in every supermarket. Maybe not even for my farm, but we have everybody that produces under Greenhouse Ventures. We have, like I said, the franchise model that we developed. We've been able to. We have over 500 greenhouses on the national territory built by us, and people are producing. Of course, we have a training section and academy where we train people. And to that note, we are the only school in Africa, not Cameroon, Africa, that trains people in greenhouse agriculture. Nobody wants to give out that knowledge. Nobody. They prefer that they will recruit you, you come and work for them, they keep you, you learn from there. And you have farms that it is the chief agronomist who comes and, they still keep their trade secrets. They don't want to tell you what they apply on their farm. They don't want to tell you what they do here. They don't want to, they hide everything just because there shouldn't be any transfer of knowledge. That's why the model that we have, the franchise model, we are the only ones with this franchise model, as far as I know in the world. Nobody has this model. And because I realized that if we didn't do it, we will not have enough production. We will not be anywhere. People will still be questioning, "Baby Roland, you should have just come, bought your 10 hectares of land, put your greenhouses, produce, you be a billionaire by now." I'm like, no, my prayer is not to be a billionaire now. I want to be a trillionaire. I want to make sure that there's enough money that these kids, even if they squander it, they would have enough to still go for many generations. You create something that is a legacy. Yeah. We are not looking to create businesses that the moment we close our eyes, then they think the business is closest with us. That's what you see today in Cameroon. Almost every person who was ahead of us, once they close their eyes, the business is close with them. There's no continuity because it wasn't set up to be that way. So yes, we work with supermarkets to the point where we gained a lot of credibility. Today, there are supermarkets that will supply everything, but it comes with a lot of challenges because, of course, there's a lot of these challenges that exist in business, either that you're taking a market from somebody, either that is, why is it this guy who is supplying, why is this small Bamenda boy who is doing it, why is this guy who just came from America, you had, the pool say, but this man, you already had everything in America, why did you come, leave it to us? There's all the challenges that sometimes you ask yourself, but do people really want to change in this world? Because it doesn't make any sense. Sometimes someone just has hatred for me for nothing. Nothing, but you are still buying my produce. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So sometimes, like they say, it's only the kid that buys the finger that feeds them, and you have to understand that they are kids. You, the mother, you will not starve the kid because they beat your finger. We just have to do what we are doing. So yes, we have been in every supermarket, and we introduced a model supermarkets which nobody could beat to today. Supermarkets, I gave them a deal that no one could offer. I'm the only person to have given supermarkets fixed price. So I get to a supermarket, I tell them I can supply you tomatoes, same price from January to December. Yeah. My price will not change, no matter the fluctuation in the market. Which supermarket wouldn't take that? Because you go to a supermarket, you're going to a place where you know that you need fixed pricing. You don't want to go there to buy a bicycle today. They say, no, we are not, currency is not devaluating or evaluating every day. No, it should be fixed. Because that's the way it is. You go to a market with a budget. You cannot be going to the supermarket as if you're going to an outdoor market. So I gave them that offer. The second offer I gave them was a return policy offer, which meant that if I gave you tomatoes and after 3 days you couldn't sell them, give them back to me. I would transform them, dehydrate, package, and resell. So again, we solved that problem. Because now what supermarkets are doing is that they would only buy limited quantities which they can sell. Most of them don't want to stock things in their cold houses because, it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes when they import produce, they keep it in their cold houses. By the time you take it out, take it in, it thaws, and then you go there, you see bell peppers looking like, with wrinkles everywhere. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
You see. So that was value that I gave them. And all of a sudden, and then the other aspect with consistency. If you want me to give you 100 kilograms every week, every Thursday at 8 o'clock, I'm the one you should talk to. You get me? Nobody could give them that. If you want me to give you bell peppers that are 50% organic, 80% organic, 100% organic, or 0% organic, I can give that to you. Nobody could do that. So all of a sudden, it became, all of last year we worked very well with them. I realized that maybe we came up with a model that could not really be chased out, beaten, and people, in the country they expect that, but my model is crispy, as I call it. It has taken me so many years to build a model. I'm not building models that I would fail. It's just that people sometimes would think that we're aggressive. It's not about aggressive. It's about being very focused and point specific in the business. I've been in agriculture now, as you know, it's too many years. You've not heard me saying that, I'm into real estate today. No. And that's the problem that most people have. They switch everywhere, every day. We've been consistent. We've been very focused. We've been making sure that we solve the core problems. And we'll get to a point where we become, problem proof. But it's our business model. So to your point, this year we were getting to a point where we wanted to actually set up our own supermarket. As a matter of fact, that was my plan for this year. But then we have another good business opportunity to partner with a supermarket chain, which I would just reserve that for now since we are still finalizing the terms. But it gives us the leverage to put our own produce at our own price, sell, and it's equitable. I see it as more of a win-win. Unlike where we had to go and sell to someone, we had to sell under their conditions. We were liable to the challenges that they have. We have supermarkets that owe us money today. And they will take your produce today, sell, and they tell you that come after 15 days. But they sold on the very first day. After 15 days, they still don't have the money. After 30 days, they still don't have the money. So what happened? They didn't throw the produce, they sold it. But what do you do? Do you chase them in justice? Do you catch them and lock them up? Do you go there and fight everyone? No. But you have produce in the farm that is producing and you have to dispose. So many times we are forced to sell to the same guys who owe us. Because what do you do with the produce? If I'm harvesting 1 ton of tomatoes, what do you do? So there have been a lot of bottlenecks. I'm not saying as if we haven't had challenges. Our challenges are probably more than the one this country has had. You understand? But to me, every challenge gives way to opportunities. I have always learned that. Like the Chinese would say, in every crisis, there's an opportunity. Wait for the opportunity. Focus on that opportunity. We are in a domain today. I do more work now out of country. And I work with head of states in many different countries. And it's good for me because, over time, some people have seen the work that we're doing. And like my mentor would always have told me, you have to keep aiming the mud at the wall. Continue aiming. Someday some of it will stick. It has taken us many years. Some people, you've been in this for too many years, you understand, too many years. And now it is beginning to make sense. Now when I go to a new country, I'm not looking to restart. All the experience that I've learned in Cameroon, we just set up a model. Yeah. To me, in less than no time, greenhouse farming would become a norm. And that has been my vision, to standardize greenhouse farming in Africa to a point where it becomes a norm of farming. Today, when we go into countries, we sit with the heads of governments and we come up with a full plan and say, okay, this is what we will do. This is how we'll do it. And they put a whole budget for that. And they say, okay, go ahead. And I say, you give me 5 years. 5 years, I make this a norm in this country. And that's has been received. So to a point where supermarkets now, we are going to create a whole supply chain that integrates all these persons in, because one of the challenges with greenhouse farming that some people are having in other places is the fact that you cannot produce in a greenhouse farm to sell the same places where the outdoor farmers sell. You get me? there are two different value systems. Because I spend a lot in a greenhouse farm to produce. I cannot sell tomatoes the same way the other person producing their tomatoes outdoors sell. We cannot sell in the same space, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So it meant that we needed to create a market for that, and which is one thing we did in Cameroon. If we just came with greenhouses and everybody was having them without having a market to sell, and then it makes no sense. You see, so we had to develop that upstream model, everything. So now Greenhouse Ventures is a company that has tech development on one side, farm production on the other side, farm management, education, training, transfer, and then market, and then transformation. But we needed to have that entire value chain to uphold the industry. If you just had greenhouses, you will not make it. If I just had this, we will not make it. We needed to have all of that. It is one reason it has taken us this whole time to develop something, and one reason why I am confident we will last, maybe to the time that Jesus finally comes and says, my children, it's time for us to go. They will harvest some produce and take along, so eat on the way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. But looking at your distribution as well, beyond Cameroon, I know you're in partnership with some other people to export to the US, other countries. Is this a very viable market, beyond the Cameroonian space, and what are some of the bottlenecks that come with that as well?
Yes, for me, like I said, last year and the years before last, I embraced a lot. But I embraced all of that to learn, so we got to a point where every supermarket wanted us. When you are the most beautiful girl on the dance floor, everybody wants to, dance with you. I think it became that. And if you're not careful, you will not know who to reject and who to embrace. So we had markets to export. We have, not say hard, we still have export markets to the US. We had interest in Europe and all of that, because produce leaves from Cameroon to the US, it goes through Europe. Might as well leave some in Europe if we continue. So there was all these opportunities. The bottlenecks are there, especially at the level of checks. Some countries are very stringent with their production, with what they expect. You see, there was a time I exported eggplants from here to Belgium. And when they got to Belgium, they selected 7 pieces and they found lava in it. They canceled the whole container. Yeah, they don't even play. The whole container was cancelled. And that lava could have been formed in transit. I will not say that maybe the guys at the sanitary checks here didn't do their job. You cannot say, because it's not my occupation. So you might have checks that could be done here, and then when they arrive there, they might have sophisticated equipments out there that we don't have them here. So there were many things. So sometimes exporting doesn't really solve the problem. So my focus right now is to focus local and sub-region. I think that, just looking at the sub-regional markets, we have more than 4 million people, 400 million, in population. You can think about that. Just imagine between Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Congo, Central Africa, Chad. My brother, and all these guys are hungry. We have hungry neighbors. Hungry neighbors. Cameroon is the most food sufficient country in all of Sub-Saharan. All these guys are hungry, and Cameroon has the lands. So my focus now is to focus in the sub-region. Let's feed ourselves. We cannot be talking that we want to export food when our neighbors are dying of hunger, when our friends are dying of hunger, when we still look at the statistics from the World Food Programs and World Banks, and they're talking about, a famine is about to hit, it doesn't make any sense. So yes, those are opportunities, those are advantages. They are all there. They are standing. No one is taking them. But for me now, it's creating an ecosystem that can empower many people. I'm not growing younger. I will not do this forever. For me now is beginning to see how you enable other people, which is why the interest to go to other countries and start to share the knowledge, is what I want to do, which is why I love to sit here with you and share this knowledge, because again, many people will listen to you, they get this information. I may not have time to do this very often. It's important that people begin to have access to much of this information. It's important for me. I'm looking at a time when I can even develop a school just for agricultural development. You know, you have flight schools, you have schools for architecture, but where is the school for agriculture that just teaches agriculture? Don't mix agriculture without agriculture. Is so vast on its own. I'm looking at those things. So for me now, it's really beginning to see how we can enable many people to get involved. My vision is someday to create an agriculture development bank, because I understand the challenges of our most agricultural people. You know, nobody gets any funding for any agricultural project. You know, I can imagine how challenging it can be. You can tell people that will get into farming, how do they get in? Where do they get the land? Where do they get the funds? Where do they get this? Even to buy seeds. Sometimes we get seeds that have been donated or distributed to us, that are seeds that are already expired. How do you do it? So for us to really do something, it needs to have a broad-based developmental scope for us to achieve at something. And to me, you know, praying God gives me more time, you know, to work this earth and be able to really accomplish a lot of these things. Because to your point about supermarkets, most people just think that the goal of producing is to sell to supermarkets. They're the most difficult people to work with. Very difficult, because it's a very long chain. Everybody has interest, even the gate man. You get there, the guy at the gate refuses that, no, you're not entering today. You'll be calling the DJ. You understand? Everybody has interest. And then we look at the crop that has very small margins. If you start to, you know, you pass here, give one pineapple, by the time you get up there, you have nothing again to sell. But the production is in the farm. The farms are producing. And it doesn't make any sense. That's why I see people who are into cocoa today. They are still doing cocoa for 50 years, but they have not left the mud house that they were in. You see what I'm saying? You don't have a cocoa farmer who wants their child to become a cocoa farmer. Nobody wants that. So all of a sudden, there's an exodus in the profession. All of a sudden, maybe Chinese people will be the ones coming to produce for us in this country, as they are doing already. All of a sudden, we have rice in the north, but we don't consume our own rice, which is better rice, or the one in Dop, which is better, but we want the one from Thailand, because it's in Thailand. And it's all because here in Thailand, this rice is being subsidized. So the price of buying from Thailand, importing it, is actually cheaper than buying from Dop and bringing it to Douala. So it's an ecosystem that we need to focus on and develop it. Not just supermarkets, not just getting the contract working with them, but there's a lot more that we really need to do in that particular space. But we are grateful to God for what we have so far. Grateful for the time, the energy, you know, the focus that we have, and just hope that we have more time to do many more things in better ways.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Looking at some of the social aspects of the work that you do, I know you've been doing some projects in like trying to support orphanages, creating greenhouses in orphanages. I think you call it the One Orphanage.
One Orphanage, One Greenhouse.
Yeah, it's really interesting. What motivated you to do that, and you know, what impact do you think this has had on the lives of, you know, the orphans and other disadvantaged people?
You know, I'm smiling big because I'm glad you actually went that far to find out, to know these things. We've done quite a lot. You know, I come from a background of a very humble background. Many a times, some of these things we don't like. I will not put it out that much, but the people who have known about it really came back, and I realized maybe we need to talk more about it. So I'll take one, the orphanage. Orphans are very vulnerable persons, you know, and many people have taken advantage of them. Many, so many, and they continue to do. Most people have orphanages not because they have interest in supporting the orphans. It's more of a personal interest, what they get for supporting the orphans. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Some people now can stand and say, I have 100 kids I'm sponsoring, but where is the money coming from? Is it your money? How are you even getting the money? Maybe it's, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. And they become a dumping ground. it aches me many a times, and I would say this here to you, that when you find these people who make donations to orphanages, carry food, never food, sugar, top pamplemousse, all those things that are all chemical infested, and you go dump it to them and take many pictures, and you're happy that you're giving orphanages. Tomorrow they are sick, you will not be there to treat them. They're already orphans. Are you getting me? So, to me, that was a thing I wanted to convert. I wanted to change. I call it sustainable charity. I don't refuse people to be charitable, but let it be sustainable. Let it be durable. You know, why not teach somebody how to catch a fish rather than giving them the fish and giving them the fish with a camera? You know, it doesn't make sense. To me, it's no longer what you want to do. It's an interest that you want to have, you know. So the idea of the One Orphanage, One Greenhouse was, one, the orphans, they have to eat. Let's teach them how to grow their own food. So the program we introduced was one which, of course, if they have the land, we didn't ask them for anything. Show us the land, we build you a greenhouse. We train you, the orphans, how to produce your food. You guys produce your food. Eat what you can eat. The rest you cannot eat, sell to us. So on one side, they had food to eat. The other side, they had money. Because I look at an orphanage as a transition house. It's not a permanent house. Most people, there's interest to keep you permanent there because they should be making money on you, but it's terrible. Don't keep someone with a mindset that they're always orphans. No. Many of us have lost our parents. But that doesn't hold us back. You know, but when you make someone believe that they are orphan, and they believe that, they have to remain beggars, you're not helping them. So the whole idea of the One Orphanage, One Greenhouse was, let's enable them to become sustainable in their own lives. Let's give them the pathways to do what they could have done. You know, they can grow their own food. They can sell what they don't have, what they don't need. And they can make money. So that at some point now, when they are okay, they can leave the orphanage and they have some money on them to go on to do their own stuff. That was the idea of the One Orphanage, One Greenhouse. We also did at the prison yards. We built a greenhouse at the prisons. Of course, while in the US I worked, we had a program where it was creating an entrepreneurship program for women who were rescued from sex trafficking. And it changed a lot, because at one point we had a particular group of women and realized most of them were Africans, because they take them from Africa, go through Mexico, come to America, it's a very convoluted journey. And with that we realized that there were many people who were incarcerated who were not guilty of the crimes, but because maybe they don't have somebody to follow up with them, petition with them, because we had these women who were captured in the US, they have no family, they have no documents. When the sex traffic agents, they take all your papers, they don't even know anything. So we had people who were there. So when I came back to Cameroon, that was something that hit me. You have many people in the prisons who are not actually meant to be there. Not everyone who's a prisoner is a criminal. So what could we do? We offered to build greenhouses at the prisons, built it, trained them. That was giving them some other occupation to do. Most of the food was eaten at the prison yards. What couldn't be eaten, we took it and we sold in the nearby churches. We created them accounts at the time. It was the Express Exchange. Those banks, Express Exchange, right? Yeah, Express Exchange. Created them accounts. So when they were released out of prison, they had money to go up and start life. It was very important. You see, so that was one thing. We did it even for vulnerable communities. I remember in Bengal, we built greenhouse for the Muslim community. Bengal is predominantly Christian. You know, so there's a community, and then you look at the Muslims or the Northerners. They are guys who they are not farmers; they are more cattle rearers. But these guys, they need food, they need vegetables. So we teach them also a bit how to produce their own food, because first of all, they are very low income earners. They don't have the money to go to the farms or go to the markets and buy food provided for such communities. So we always targeted those communities that have very high need and passionate to work and can really do that. So I'm glad you really brought that up, because, you know, it's one of the ways that we've also been able to say we want to give back to the communities, what we do. I am not a big fan of giving handouts. You You probably never see me on the stage doing farote people. I don't. To me, it doesn't make any sense. To me, I like that. If you're getting something, it should be something that can help you and can help you to help other people. That's just the way that chain needs to keep going.
Yeah. I think it's very typical of African entrepreneurship, out there, and I'm sure you know this. Out there, a typical businessman would maybe at the end of his career he would choose to do some charity, but when he's very active in the business, it's always about how do you make the next buck. You're not thinking about orphans, you're not thinking about helping the vulnerable or all these communities. It's really about how do you make as much money as possible. But I think looking at African entrepreneurship, it's always as much as people want to make money, there's just a big component of making sure that you help the community as well. You do something that's good for the community, you help people, you help orphans, you help the needy, all of that. So that's a very big part of African entrepreneurship, which I think, looking at what you're also doing as well, it really taps into that. And of course, a lot of other entrepreneurs are doing the same. I think it's really something to do more of, because at the end of the day, it's not just about making money, but it's also about looking at the community around you. And there's a lot to do there.
For me, I say that don't give because you have a lot to give. You get me? Give because you have the will to give. You don't have to wait to have, because you will never have enough. It will never be enough. I've been in that corridor where you think that, no, let me get 1 million. When you get to 1 million, you say, let me get 10 million. When you get 10 million, you say, let me get 20. Let me get 1, There's always a need. And it's a rat race, my brother. But I think with the little you have, you start to learn to give. If you don't learn to give when you don't have, then you'll never be able to give when you do have. It's an important aspect for us to realize that we have to uplift our communities. You see, I am in agriculture. Like I said, my model of greenhouse was because I needed to empower a community to buy my produce. Yeah. You see, it's important. If I don't support you to live long, then how do I expect you to buy my produce? Yeah. So it's a win-win. It's what I'm saying. So I think it's a philosophy that people need to understand that we are all interrelated. We need each other.